What's going on in Reno?
Tell him, Sam.
We got the two-Y Yankees band. We got the two-Y Yankees band. Singing sensation, sweeping the nation. We're legend in our very own mind. Over on my right is Indiana Tommy.
What's going on in Reno? I think we're about to find out. I think we are seriously about to find out like we have never found out before, Mike, and I mean that. I'm deadly serious about that.
I'm ready.
Aren't you though?
Definitely.
You guys got to strap up and ramp up for this one a little bit. It's 1270 The Buzz. Welcome back. It's Panama. Mike, of course, on the other side of the glass today, and we are joined today by Reno citizen, Reno watchdog, aka the Encyclopedia of Reno government, Mr. Sam Dehne. I talked about you earlier. I'm fascinated by you. By a whole bunch of stuff, but your dedication to the city and just the attention you pay to the city. Tell us, who is Sam Dehne for people that don't know?
Well, am I on now?
You're on now.
Okay, before I get started, I'd like to explain why I was a little bit late coming in here. I was driving down here, and I drove by this house, and it said, talking dog for sale on a sign there for $10. So I went in and said, what's this about a talking dog? And the guy said, well, he's right over there. Go talk to him. So I went over to the talking dog, and I said, my name's Sam. What's your name? The dog said, oh, my name used to be Fido. I didn't like that, so I changed it to Pete. And I said, well, Pete, tell me about yourself, a talking dog. So Pete said, well, when I was a little puppy, I joined the Marines, and they taught me how to go behind the enemy lines and learn all their plans, and we won all the battles, and I got all these medals, and I retired with honors, and now here I am, a talking dog. And I turned to the man, I said, a talking dog for only $10? How come? And he says, the dog's a liar. He didn't do any of that stuff he told you.
Look, see, Sam's got us off to a start today. I love that. Sam, a lot of people know who you are. You get more famous, by the way. You're doing TV commercials now. I saw you. I was at the Me rollout for the Washington County School District. I saw your commercial with the mayor.
For free, like everything else I do, for free. Everybody thinks I did such a great job. They're wondering how much I got paid for that. I did that as a benefit, as I always do, for charity.
Why do you love Reno so much?
Oh, you got me stumped now. I don't know. It's just a crusade. When I went to the Air Force Academy, I was taught, and I'm not saying I don't love Reno, but I don't necessarily love Reno any more than I do Denver or Baltimore or something like that. But I happened to be in Reno, and when I was at the Air Force Academy, I swore to an oath to obey the Constitution. And since I've come to Reno and watched the government, I said I've got to continue that crusade, even though I'm retired now, continue that crusade to monitoring government, because the government around here doesn't always obey the Constitution. And that's kind of like highfalutin way to put it, but that's about the only way I can analyze why I'm on this crusade.
What percentage of the time you think the government, and we'll just use that loose phrase, the local government, pays attention to the Constitution? Less than half? More than half?
Maybe when they're asleep. Maybe.
So not a great deal in your opinion.
No. And if you disobey the Constitution one time, that means you may as well have violated the entire Constitution. You can't pick and choose. And I'm not an expert on the Constitution, don't get me wrong. I couldn't name all the numbers and that kind of stuff, but I know what's right and what's wrong, and I know that the most important part of the Constitution is to allow citizens to be able to speak their piece. So when you go to a city council meeting or a county commission meeting, it's by law they have to allow you to go to the podium, and you've been there before.
Yes, absolutely. We've seen each other there.
And when I arrived on the scene, and it's by law, by Nevada law, they have to have a period of public comment for a citizen to talk about anything he wants.
3 minutes right now, right?
Well, when I arrived on the scene in 1994, when I arrived, I was told that I'm supposed to slow down. I'm talking too fast.
You're okay.
And no, anyway, when my friends tell me, Sam, you talk so fast, we can't understand that fast. But anyway, so I arrived on the scene, and there was no clock. You just go to the podium and you talk about whatever your issue is.
And how long could you go? My God.
Well, this is the irony of it all, Panama. When I arrived on the scene, I don't think – okay, so the next step is they said, Sam's talking. We got to cut him down. So they got this fancy $50,000 clock and made it – they set it to 5 minutes. Then that was too much, so they moved it down to 3 minutes. So now it's the Sam Dehne, don't give him one extra second of freedom of speech clock. And it's set at 3 minutes, and now you're the victim of that same thing too. But the irony is that I swear I didn't talk. I probably never even talked 3 minutes before the clock. Now you get the clock there, and you work up to the 3 minutes. Everybody says, Sam, I don't want to go talk up there. I can't talk for 3 minutes. You don't have to talk for 3 minutes.
No, you have to fill it up. But you know what? You're right about that, and I'm guilty of the same things you are, Sam. I talk too fast and too much sometimes. But the first time I ever went was when they were going to put the stoplight down on South Meadows Parkway when the young girl had been hit and killed in the crosswalk. And the thing went off at 3 minutes. I was like, but I'm not done.
Yes, you are.
And though the mayor was kind enough, I think, to give me another minute or two because it was my first rodeo. I'd never been again. But yeah, it does kind of sneak up on you. How many government meetings have you been to here in town and spoken at? Because I know you go to all of them. You go to airport, you go to RSCVA, you go to Washoe County, you go to Reno City. I know this about you.
Yeah, as of last Wednesday, it was 5,487.
Be quiet.
But who's counting?
You?
Who's counting?
Yeah.
No, I've got well over. You could sit down, and most of my public comments are on DVDs or even old VHS
and
tapes.
I found that you've discovered YouTube as well.
And yeah, YouTube. And you could sit on the VHS tapes. I've got, but I've stopped doing VHSs about 3 years ago.
Yeah. Way to step up with the times there, Mr. 2000.
but I've got 64 full VHS tapes of 3 minutes of Sam. So you can calculate out there, you folks out in TV land, or I mean radio land, you can calculate that out there and find out how many minutes of public comment that is. So I've been to virtually every city council meeting since 1994, virtually every county commission meeting, and I stopped going to the airport meetings because they don't televise them anymore. And
so are you in it for the TV or are you in it for the comment?
That's inside joke, a little bit of both. I mean,
okay, all right, fair question.
No, and maybe people say, "Oh, you're in it for the TV." If it wasn't for TV, I may as well be talking in my bathroom because the only people there are the city council or the county commission and Sam. You've been there and staff. You were down there for your particular issue.
Sure.
It was over with and you were gone.
No, and you're right, and I was going to bring that up, and that's that. You know, a lot of people think that sometimes people only go to, and sometimes I think this is probably attributed to you, but not necessarily in truth, that you just go to complain. That you just got that 3 minutes, you just want to bitch and moan and get whatever on your chest off your chest because that's every other Wednesday and that's what Sam's got. But that's not true. And I know this to be fact because when I went to city council the last time, it's when we were trying to get together and put to start the Put Nevada Back to Work project and put 1,000 Northern Nevadans back to work.
Yeah.
By the way, as a radio company, we got that done. We did that.
Despite the fact that I supported it.
And well, that's what I was going to say. But because I was leaving that day, I made my comment to council, and I was walking out the door, and I hear this voice behind me. Go, hey, Panama, are you leaving? I got to be somewhere. And it was Sam. And he said, well, when I get up to my comments, I wanted to give you guys credit and props, so to speak, for coming up with a great idea that really helps. So there is some positivity, no doubt, to what you say as well. It's not all complaints from you, is it?
No, the only reason I seem to come across as a curmudgeon is because of the fact that they won't listen to all of the things that I've told them to do.
Do you expect them to? Fair. It could be fair. Do you expect them to?
Expect isn't the right word.
Yes, but expect.
They should.
We all feel like they should, though.
Because the fact, and I don't want to sound highfalutin, but I'm there every day, so I know it all. I'm the encyclopedia. But I've made suggestions through the years. For instance, the simplest suggestion I've ever made was to the mayor and the council, make believe it's your own money. That's as simple as it can be. If you make believe it's your own money, you're going to spend it like it's your own money. They spend their money like a bunch of junk and jarheads. And it's just, if they had listened to me, they wouldn't have bought the big black building. They wouldn't have built the railroad trench. Now they're bankrupt. They've got a bankrupt railroad trench that even the bank doesn't want to take back anymore.
What additions have they made that you feel are worthwhile? The ballpark? Because I don't think you were for those bonds either, were you?
You know, I spoke when that was going down, and you probably heard me say this before. I spoke about the baseball park more than all of the other citizens added together at the podium at public comment. I spoke for it, and I spoke against it, probably right down the middle.
Well, you're going to be right 50% of the time, Sammy.
I know. Well, that was, and I've done that on a few others because there were some good things about it and some bad.
That's fair, though. Nothing wrong with that.
It kind of bothers me. And by the way, I'm relatively well-to-do. I call myself politically independent and just rich enough to get by.
Okay.
And that's about it. So, but I think if I have to, I defend the proletariat, the downtrodden, the grunts, more than I do the highfalutin guys up in the big towers. So it kind of bugged me when these folks come from New York City, and they seem like nice men, the Katzoffs, seem like really nice people, polite, but it kind of bugs me when they come to Reno and they build this thing, and now they're walking away, and we've got to pay them $1 million a year for the next 10, 15, 20 years. I don't even remember the numbers, and it just kind of bugs me about, speaking specifically about the baseball stadium. I got, motherhood, apple pie, and baseball. Those are the three things, but I just don't like the idea that there was so much public money involved in that thing, and they tore down a $20 million, $30 million, $50 million fire station, and gone. It just destroyed.
When you get to public comment, do you know what you're going to talk about, or does the meeting influence what you're going to talk about?
I tell people I like to go to the podium to find out what I'm going to say.
Extemporaneously.
Extemporaneously, yeah. 90%. No,
no teleprompter?
No teleprompter. No makeup either. Where's the makeup man?
This we know, Sam. Hi, you mind taking a phone call? John, you're on the phone with Sam Dehne today. What's going on?
Good morning, Colonel. Did I get that right?
Colonel, that works. Yeah, Lieutenant Colonel, but Colonel's the proper way. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Now, the concept of politicians being on the board of directors of these entities like the water and the bus company, isn't that fascism? Or a subset of it?
It is kind of ironic that you asked that question, because I've been, as Panama noted, I've been to every one of these meetings all of these years, and I may not be a mental giant, but I've got maybe at least an average IQ, and I've never, ever, ever, ever been asked to be on any of these boards that you're talking about. And speaking of fascism, that probably is correct. It's sort of a heavy word, but the concept of these people going down and getting elected to city council or county commission and then getting on these boards, and people think, well, they must be highway specialists, and because they're running the RTC or they're running the water company. None of them have any.
No, who was it? Was it Sue Loudon that ended up on the medical board? I think it was Sue Loudon, like on the
Sam,
state medical board or something.
Yeah. So Benito Mussolini said in 1923, fascism occurs when the government cares more about corporations than they do for the people. You want to do a little Rorschach word association test? Real brief?
Sure.
Willy-nilly, because we needed public utility rate increases.
Oh, I love that. I like paying more for everything that the government throws at me.
One red light to the next red light.
Standard operation in Reno, although it's getting better.
City can't pay for the train trench.
I told him so.
Star bonds for corporate welfare who end up employing people for about 6 months, part-time, no benefits, slave wages, and then lay them off.
I hate to be redundant, but I told him so.
Let me ask you one last thing, Sam. I know you're a retired Air Force pilot and a retired airline pilot, and in Michael Moore's movie, Capitalism, a Love Story, he has a bunch of pilots on, and Sully Sullenberger testifying before Congress that they make $20,000 a year, they cut their retirement 40%, and they're on food stamps. Is any of that true?
By they, you mean the pilots?
Yeah, is that true?
No,
I
would bet my frayed old $100 bill that there's not one airline pilot that maybe was talking about per month. $20,000 per month? No, I'm kidding. But no, they make far more than $20,000 a year. The lowest paid makes far more than that.
And where's he coming with the food stamp thing, or is that just Michael Moore when he peppers his movie?
Oh, hyperbole?
You talking about Michael Moore said this, or Sully, or both?
Sullenberger had a little bit of his testimony that said that he wouldn't encourage anybody to become an airline pilot because of the low pay, and his retirement was cut 40%, and he was ashamed of the industry.
That's baloney. I'm not saying the industry's perfect, but that's baloney. There's not I can't even think of a job that a person would, generally speaking, would want more than to be an airline pilot. You've been watching the Pan Am show on Sunday nights? Not that I'm promoting it, but
no,
should be canceled.
But on that,
you have a good day, huh?
Hey, thanks a lot, John.
Thanks for the good. Now that was extemporaneous.
Yes, no, John. Hey, John always has great questions. Now, Sam, we don't. For a guy that's been around, how long you been in town here, being active and a watchdog, so to speak, here in town?
The way that worked out was Pan Am, my airline that I.
Oh, you are promoting that? Okay.
No, they got blown out of business
Okay.
circa 1991. That's when they stopped flying. I took a quick job with an airline called Air Afrique over in Africa, and then that went out of business too. I guess I'm bad luck.
I was going to say.
Around 1994, I started attending city council meetings. And the streak's been
What
going
got you
ever
going
since.
to begin with?
I used to fly in the Air National Guard here, and I love the National Guard's a wonderful operation. It's a good bang for the buck. But I flew the F-4 Phantoms with a perfect flying safety record, but they were now at that time defunct, and the Air Guard here wanted to, and the airport supported him, and everybody in town wanted them to get something like an F-16 or the Warthog. And I said, no, that's crazy. This is a flag to carry, and I just kind of got carried away with it. And I said, we don't really need it, but if you're going to replace it, it should be the C-130 cargo plane. And so I started going to the city council meetings to use it as a bully pulpit and going to the other meetings. And so it was a bully pulpit to get that particular program through. And guess what?
You got hooked.
Well, no, I got hooked.
got hooked.
But guess what about the airplanes? All of this is maybe my
C-130s?
Yeah, maybe my biggest victory, if that's the right word. Saved about 400 jobs. The airplane's relatively quiet, although it doesn't exactly have a mission flying out of Reno, but that's a whole different story. But it's a functional airplane, cargo, as opposed to flying a fighter plane. What's a fighter plane defending Reno, Nevada?
Do you feel, I like the way you just put that. Do you feel like you've had victories? Because, John just brought up a couple of things, and your retort was, I told him so. Okay, but we've talked earlier this morning. You said, hey, I warned him about some stuff. Do you feel like in those I warned him and I told you so's, you've also had a chance to have some victories?
Well, it's not really nice to say it's a victory, but it's sort of almost a victory to be able to say, I told you so.
Listen, I understand that, though. I really do.
And I hate to say like that because I'm not a vengeful person, but at a certain point, what do? I've begged them, I warned them, I've advised them over and over, and I'm not without a track record. When I was in the Air Force flying, I also flew B-52 bombers, and I created a program with the B-52 bombers just as a first lieutenant, a program that has saved the nation over $1 billion a year in saved fuel costs.
So do you get credit for that?
No. I got a little plaque just said thank you. But no, that's okay.
There's no Sam Dehne Day? How come the mayor hasn't had Sam Dehne Day?
Because it rhymes so well.
It's too hard to say.
It's too hard to say, Mike says.
but no, Sam Dehne Day.
Look at, I got him thinking now. Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
I heard a rumor that he was going to do it. He had a plaque for Sam Dehne, and when I heard about it, I went to the podium and I said, "Well, if you want to have a Sam Dehne Day, it's got to Sam Dehne Day."
It is hard to say now that you do it.
Then I don't want a plaque. I want a statue, just like that Raggio got, and they did away with it, so he can't.
So no plaque, no statue. Too bad for you. So
nothing.
Sad. How come we don't see you more on TV and radio local? That's why I asked you how long you've been doing this. How come people don't talk to you, and get your opinion on things? I know I've read you say, and I've read you write, and I've heard you say that the media is afraid of you. And you and I had this conversation and laughed a little bit about it. I go, Sam, I'm not. So why do you think that is?
Well, I'm waiting to see if you still have your job a month from now.
I'm not worried about it. Well, a month from now, that's a whole different ball game.
2 weeks.
Okay. But no, why do you think the media's afraid of you, Sam?
I reflect on that, and I'm thinking if I had excuse me, I'm an intelligent man, but other people ask me that question, why is the media so deathly afraid and jealous of Sam Dehne, 160-pound senior citizen, wouldn't hurt a fly? You're the first person who's had me on any show ever, other than Nevada Matters. What was that? God, I can't think of his name right now.
Sam Shad.
No, Sam. Sam, living proof you can't make a man out of a mouse. Shad. Oh, that guy. He wouldn't have he would never have me. Sam Shad is what they should have made me be if I wanted to do that. I could handle that job so much better than Sam Shad with his white. Anyway, I don't want to get all over Sam Shad because there's enough people out there besides Sam, living proof you can't make a man out of a mouse. Shad, but back in the beginning, somewhere in the beginning, we can go anywhere from the Scientology cult zealots to the Northern Nevada Network, or just them, the usual suspects up there, somehow decided Sam is not going to be the man. We're going to ostracize him. We're going to make believe the 10-ton elephant that's in every room does not exist.
But let me ask you this question. But Mike wrote, I think you did a show, Bob Garrison, maybe on this station years and years ago. We were in the old building on 300 East 2nd, Mike says. You did Bob Garrison. When you say them, Sammy, when you say them.
Yeah, his guitar, he's playing some music.
Okay.
I don't remember the Bob Garrison, though, that name. Yeah.
All right. Hey, nobody does. No, I'm kidding. I love Bob Garrison.
Oh, no, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry,
totally
Bob.
am playing. I love Bobby. Listen, so when you say them, and I say this with all due respect, don't you think that sounds a little crazy?
Well, it's them. You got to see me because it's them.
No, the air quotes. I got the air quotes. But don't you agree though? To some,
it's
that may
really
seem
tough.
a little standoffish.
It's tough. It's almost as tough as me saying that they're stealing the votes, and I know.
And we're going to
stealing
get to
the
that
votes.
because I have questions for you.
But that's the danger that I face of people saying you just have to. If the media would give me the time that I deserve, and then they would see that I'm not crazy. That I know what's going on. And when I say them, the Scientology cult zealots or the Northern Nevada Network. You ever heard of the Northern Nevada Network?
I have not.
No, NNN. Frank Partlow, a retired Army general, was the head of it for a while, and now Cobb has had it for 5 or 8 years. And it's a conglomeration of them, from the Atlantis to the Caranos to the manufacturers to the warehouses and to city council, for all I know. But you can't even find a list of who them is. Have you ever heard of EDON?
Yes, of course.
The
Chuck Alvey?
Yeah,
Sure.
the Economic Devastating Authority of Western Nevada.
Wow.
Actually, I was going to be a nice guy today.
No, you weren't.
The Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada. There's a lot of thems in there. If you looked at the list of those people, that they're just the people who.
So are you when you do
checks,
TV commercials now, like you and the mayor? Are you trying to get in good with the them?
Was that a singular or plural just then?
What, commercial?
Yeah,
commercials.
One commercial.
Okay, but when you do stuff, is that an attempt to endear yourself to them?
Absolutely not. Do you think I would?
No.
Yeah. No. They.
No.
Mark Curtis.
I don't know Mark.
Well, he was the advertising guru.
Uh-huh.
Called me up.
maybe I do.
I've never talked to him in my life. Just called me up and asked me if I would do that. And
It's a great commercial, by the way.
Thanks, and I've got it on YouTube if you haven't seen it there too.
You've got everything
it's not on TV
YouTube.
very much.
You've got everything on YouTube. They showed at the opening of the Mia ceremony. Then I expected to see you there, as a matter of fact.
No, I didn't want to.
Possibly serenading people with your dulcet tones.
I didn't want to upstage anybody. No.
Oh well, that's good that you didn't come by there.
No, I think that would have been a totally different. It's just the way it is. I knew, quote unquote.
Do you and the mayor like each other? Tell the truth.
We're not buddy, but we don't. We get along okay.
Yeah. See, listen, when I talk to the mayor, he always really has nice things to say about you. Like, how's Sam? How's he doing at the meeting? He's all, Sam he brings lots of things. I think you guys have a secret kind of bromance.
No, I don't drink beers with him. I don't have coffee with him. No, we don't associate.
So I can't set up a beer summit.
A beer summit. When I would attend. Unless they are there. I don't want to go. They're going to be there.
I'm dying to find out a little more about them and they, okay?
I don't want to name names. I don't remember all the names. There's too many.
But you are not a fan of necessarily local media. And that goes for print media. I know that you have been long and hard on the newspaper locally. You have several names for them.
The local media is the worst thing. You were talking about the government and what I think of the government. The worst thing in our community is the local media.
Except for?
I was about to say, except for, what's his name?
See how you are? I try to show you some love. We're spending some time today with Sam Dehne. I'm having a great time. And Sam, we got a bunch more questions for you. I want to talk about the vote stealers. And again, I'm using air quotes because that's, again, one of those things you say and people go, listen to the crazy guy in the corner. Okay, you're nodding. You know this. I'm not insulting you by saying this. You've heard it before. You say you have factual proof. I want to ask you something. I pulled up your website, renocitizen.com. That is Sam's website if anyone wants to check it.
Yeah, a pioneering website, 1994.
Yep.
No bells and whistles, just stuff.
No, cool little graphics though. And so I want to talk a little more about the vote stealing. I'm curious. See, look, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ahead of the game today. We're talking with Sam today. There's more to come. It's 1270 The Buzz. Hang on.